'cause you had a bad
week. Hello and welcome to Patched. I'm your host Paul James. Today I'm joined by Matto Phillips. How's things, mate?
Hey, good. Well, for me it's good. Other people, companies, not so good.
Yeah, Microsoft's having a pretty rough week. So we'll get into that. They've had a bad week. Redfall, the news is kind of broken that the game is only going to be launching at 30 FPS. It's only going to have a fidelity mode. There's no performance. There's no 60 frames per second. All kind of what are kind of becoming standard modes these days. And Joseph Staten has left not only 343 Industries but also Halo. Xbox itself.
Microsoft.
Microsoft
Xbox.
itself. So we'll dive into the Joseph Staten one shortly. We'll start with Redfall. Firstly, was it on your radar at all before?
Yeah, it was when they showed it on their little developers, whatever showcase it was, back at the start of the
developer
year,
_direct.
whatever it was, and I was going, hey, I like the look of this game. I wasn't sure to start off with, and I saw the gameplay. I thought, hey, I could get into this, and then watched. What was the other one? Hi-Fi Rush. Then ignored the rest because I went and downloaded Hi-Fi Rush, and then
I still haven't played yet. Despite doing the same thing.
Yeah, but it was on my list of games to play because this year alone, there's been a lot of games that have been crossed off the list of games to play because either they looked bad, they got delayed till next year, or it's just no. Or weapon degradation, that's the other one. It's just saw that went, nah.
Is that a pointed thing at Zelda?
Possibly.
Yeah.
Oh no, my stick broke. Like, well, that's me done for this video then. No more.
I'll note that in this latest trailer that went live this week, and we're not going to have a whole Zelda section here, but that latest trailer that went live this week that was about 3-4 minutes long, they seem to be indicating, and I didn't cotton onto it originally, but all credit to Buddy Watson who pointed everything out to me. He's like, apparently they're looking to try and collect like 7 tier fragments or something. Like, seems kind of
back to the dungeons.
Dungeony. So we may not have we may have our weapon degradation issue. We may have the stamina issue.
But
I might be willing to look. Yeah.
Ganondorf's back to full body mode instead of dragon mode.
And no shirt. Awesome.
No shirt mode, and he has a voice now, which is going to be weird instead of just that deep laugh that we all know and love for the last 20 plus years. I know this is an Xbox thing, Microsoft thing we talk about, but it's going to be weird just to see him have a voice just like all those Mario characters in the movie, just having voices. You go, what the hell, Chris Pratt?
Well, although apparently, Chris Pratt's done a pretty good job with Mario in the end. I still haven't seen the movie yet. Zelda still kind of plays a bit of a part in the Redfall story, I think, though. Redfall is kind of copying what Titanfall 2 did years ago, where it's kind of wedged between two big hitters. Redfall lands in the week between Star Wars Jedi Survivor and Zelda.
Yeah, that's kind of tough.
That's a pretty rough window, and like if you're going to launch in that thing, then you kind of need everything, every little marketing beat to be a winner. And there was kind of initial confusion as to what it was in the first place. There was the whole controversy about the a small one for physical owners, because there's not that many on Xbox these days who go and buy a disc. But the fact that you just get a download code, that was it. People didn't like that, even though they'll give you a disc and it'll 100% still be basically like Halo, where you basically just put in a disc and it's like a what's the thing I'm looking for? The old checks, check to ensure that you had a valid copy of the game. I've gone blank on the term that got used, but anyway. It's really just, you can play it, you've got access, no worries, and then boot it up from, but then you'll still have to download the whole game. I'm almost certain that'll be the case.
So it's like sort of doing the old Activision
DRM
trick.
Yeah, some of those old DRM
like,
tricks.
Oh, hey, there's 30 megabytes on this CD, and then you got to download 120 gigabytes of it. Like, why give me a disc?
I guess when you put it that way, it makes a lot of sense that Activision's going to join Xbox, huh?
Yeah, I think I think Microsoft took the idea, said, we love your idea of putting nothing on the disc and downloading the rest of the game.
Come join us. There was the fact that it's always online, despite the fact that you can play it single player. They're trying to work to fix that. And then you go and add in what we've just discussed with the 30 frames only mode at the moment. And the fact that, and look, this isn't really their fault, but did you see IGN had IGN first coverage of the game that looked horrible?
I think I did.
It was kind of like that old thing years ago. Do you remember there was, and I think it was IGN again. There was no, it was like Polygon or someone like that. But like they had Cuphead. Someone played Cuphead. They had like an exclusive thing. They got to put the footage up first. It was gonna, it was gonna be this huge thing, and whoever the person was that played it was shit. So they made the game look really, really bad. Similar sort of story here for Redfall. They were clearly not an FPS person.
So they got an absolute spud to play it.
Which made the game look bad.
A phony. So they got a phony. I mean, IGN is really good for having phonies and...
Yeah, they'll employ Dash next. So it doesn't matter. Everyone in this industry hates that guy now, and knows that he's a fraud. So, just downvote this video, mate. I see it. I see it all in the data. So anyway, that aside, because I don't mind sweeping that guy under the rug. Yeah, I think like it's just been one negative beat after another, and now they're right on the verge of release, and then this happens. So they've just, I don't know. The Xbox fans were not happy. It seemed like they were finally going to get their big first-party exclusive. Not that, and you mentioned Hi-Fi Rush before. Not that we can ignore that, but like this is the big AAA tentpole, build everything around it sort of game. The one that was going to really kick off the year, because then they'd have Forza and Starfield down the line, and then you get this kind of sour note, which is the game's going to be at best running at 30 FPS. I mean, does that? You said you were kind of about it before. Does it put you off? Does it worry you that much?
Nope. Does not bother me at all. Yes, it is at 30 frames a second. At launch. Let's say that at launch.
Yeah.
But I'm guessing that there's still problems with multiplayer and 60 frames per second, I'm guessing, because otherwise they could go to 60 frames per second, then Xbox fans are still going to be angry and go, hey, this is at 58 frames a second.
Yeah, they'll find something to whinge about.
They'll find something. There's no win in it, so you can give them the 60 frames a second, it's not going to run smooth, they'll complain. You don't give them the 60 frames, give them 30, they're going to complain.
Well, I mean, it is coming. It's just coming down the line, which is... I guess the game just needs to weather the storm in the meantime. Like, I don't know how many people it's necessarily going to turn off. At the end of the day, it's on Game Pass, so there's going to be millions of people that will download and play the game. And so it should still be fine regardless.
Or you can go on your PlayStation Plus, whatever it is, and go play Spider-Man. Not anymore. Not for much longer, you can't.
But even then, I think they'll just be bringing that back as like a... with Xbox episode, and yet we've jumped across to Nintendo and now PlayStation. I think they're going to put Spider-Man up as like the base tier, a month giveaway sort of thing. Probably that and Miles as some giveaway just before Spider-Man 2 launches. And then maybe it'll return to extra sometime after that. So I think there's a marketing ploy that they're going for there. They're within their rights, I guess, but it's a weird one. Because to Xbox's credit, their first party games don't disappear, except Quantum Break, and that was a licensing issue, and that's going to come back. So, yeah, it's a... I don't know. I'm not a giant frame rate snob, so it doesn't... like.
Yeah, I'm the same too. Because I had an old TV that I had for 12 years. 60 frames per second doesn't exist on that TV, so I just played it.
And whatever the TV can do, yeah.
And whatever the TV can do, because that's the best I could do. So this whole people complain about, it's not 60 frames a second, I go, cool.
Yeah, for me it's a weird one, because like I've had good enough TVs in the last few years to run at least 60.
New TV too.
And certainly now it's a brand new TV that is absolutely capable of it and can do much better than that as well. And I've come to really appreciate like how valuable frames, like an increased frame rate is for the playing experience. But at the same time, I'm not that far removed that I will kind of turn my nose up at the game simply because it's running at 30. Another interesting stat, and it's one of those things that I think will be... It's probably an echo chamber of just the hardcore gamers going, it's got to be at 60 or 120 or and they're losing their mind over the whole thing. But there's a whole bunch of data out there that on the PlayStation side that shows or suggests that the vast majority of gamers will play on fidelity mode or like the visual focus, and will sacrifice the frame rate. They're more than happy to go visuals over frames, and even if developers default to a performance mode, there's a percentage that will jump in and go and change it deliberately to fidelity. So obviously there's a loud group that is going to have their concerns, and I get it as someone who's come to appreciate it.
The people who whinge and complain on the internet.
Well, it's just the hardcore group. That's what it is. But like the majority actually
don't care.
Don't care so much. Well, I care more than I once did, but like I'm not gonna lose my mind at the whole thing because I've it's not that long ago that I really had no idea what I was looking at. So I can cop it in this case, and I guess I hope that it's really the combination of the whole things in the case of Redfall, like all of those different things that I cited before, that has me a little bit worried for the game when it comes out. Not that it's necessarily going to be bad, but that it just won't get a good crack at it. Like gamers won't be keen to give it a go. That reviewers will turn up their nose because up a little bit because of the 60 frames or lack of 60 frames. All of that sort of stuff. I wonder if that's going to impact the whole thing. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. The game is at this point about 2.5 weeks away. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. Any other thoughts on Redfall?
No, I've still got faith in it. If it was that bad, they would have delayed it again. Yeah. I don't know. Did they already delay it, or was it already set for a May release? I can't remember. No, Starfield was delayed. I know that.
Starfield was delayed. This was meant to be first half. Yeah.
Everyone got angry at that.
Redfall was meant to be first half of the year, and it is. It was Starfield that was also meant to be first half of the year and got delayed. So,
I mean, if you want to really build yourself up for a 30 frames per second game and a dull environment, go play Gotham Knights and then come back and play Redfall. You'll go, wow, this game is amazing. Same with the Plague Tale. Like everyone complained about that. Then they played the game, and then
it was a game of the year contender. They forgot about it.
And then you stopped hearing about the 30 frames per second debacle because everyone liked the game and ignored the frames.
Look, my final thought when it comes to the hell's going on there?
Is it a leak?
No, just looking at my games library and there's like my PS3 thing and there's just a giant empty gap there. I don't know what's going on. Someone's been in here. That's not me. Probably my wife. Anyway, my only other thought when it comes to the whole thing is my concern is, and I think it's going to be a growing concern, is that the Xbox Series S is going to start causing problems for the developers because they've got to develop their games for the lowest common denominator, which is going to be the Series S version, which is ultimately really just an Xbox One. It's just a slightly souped up Xbox One. I worry that they're going to start to have issues because of the bottlenecks that the Series S creates, and that's not an issue that PlayStation will have, for example, because their lower spec kit is literally just the same machine, or lower price kit is the exact same thing, just minus a hard drive. So it like the base power is the same for all consoles in the PlayStation family, whereas there is a difference between the Xbox Series S and Series X, and I wonder if they're gonna start to find these struggles because of the Xbox Series S, that they can't get it down to, like, they can't get 60 running on that platform as an example because of what the console can manage. So I guess that'll be something for people to watch going forward. Starfield and Forza will be the next things to come out down the line. Will they start having the same issues? I guess we'll have to wait and see. Joseph Staten. So he's been a big wig with the Halo franchise for years, was one of the key players in the early Halo days, like right back at Bungie and Halo 1, 2, 3, that whole arc. Continued with Bungie over when they left Halo behind and went to develop Destiny. He then came back as kind of Mr. Fix-It for Halo Infinite when things, like after that big debut and things went really, really badly. Craig, everyone was introduced to Craig, or Craig as the Americans basically say, because they can't speak.
Craig.
For years I was like, what the hell's Craig? Who's Craig? Craig, apparently.
It was a Greg.
Yeah. It was...
Greg?
Fuck the American accent anyway. Pronounce all the letters, please, people. Anyway,
learn to spell, people.
Yeah, that too. Mom. They showed it. It didn't get received overly well. The game ultimately got delayed, but Joseph Staten came in amongst all of that. They kind of coaxed him over to fix the game, and I mean, he largely did. Obviously, there were still issues with the multiplayer, but I think it was almost a case of Joseph kind of patching up as many different things as he possibly could just to try and get the campaign right, which he did, and I thought it was a fantastic campaign, but that multiplayer, just they couldn't get enough content, they couldn't get the cycle of content going, and so it struggled through that lens. He then left 343 to assume a role with Xbox specifically, but that seemed to have only lasted a couple months before he's just, boom, gone altogether. So with him leaving, how fucked is Halo?
Oh, it's dead. I say
It's
dead.
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 That
Marcus will come in, get his chainsaw, chop Master Chief's head off, and he'll say, "I'm the captain now."
I mean, he should be. Like, Gears should be the top dog now. It has to be. But
considering that he was there from the start of Halo, he wrote the scripts for the first, was it 3, 4? I don't know. Whatever Bungie.
Certainly the very earliest stuff. Actually, so he wouldn't have had anything to do with 4 or 5, because that's when he was with Bungie working on Destiny.
Right, so...
But he was there for 1 through to 3.
The good ones.
Reach and ODST, he would have been there for all of that.
So all the good ones, and then
came back to try and save Infinite.
Which, yeah, that wasn't going to happen.
Oh, look, no, I think to his credit, I think he did a pretty good job. Like, the campaign of Infinite is fantastic. You know, if I had a criticism now, in retrospect, it'd be like, it could have done with a bit more environmental, like, diversity. It's just this big green field, no matter where you go. A beautiful looking one at that, but, like, it's a bit repetitive, the environments. They could have changed it up a little bit more. But that's really my only criticism of the campaign. It was a really great campaign. It's just the multiplayer, there really isn't much of one still. It's taking forever for every mode to come out. Forge is there now, and people love Forge, but yeah, it's just taking an eternity. The seasons of content seem to be more than a year, or close enough to a year, before the next one comes out. It's crazy. It's been so slow. So him leaving, on top of Bonnie Ross, who was the head of 343, what was that, 6 months ago? I think she said, like, they pitched it as there being like a family reason that she had to leave. But all other signs actually point to the fact that she got her ass kicked out, and a few others as well. So like a lot of the leadership, the people who are at the helm of this thing, are gone. And so I'm kind of with you. I don't know. I'm not going to go quite as far as say it's dead.
Not dead, but it's in trouble. It's in shambles. Absolute shambles.
So what do they do from here? What's? I mean, there's the second season of the Halo TV show that's in development still.
Maybe can that and go back to your game. You've ruined it.
Yeah, fix your game.
Come on, Paramount. What are you doing? Taking his helmet off. You've ruined it for everyone.
I mean, when they come back, should we get like a reboot? When it eventually comes back, do we get a Halo 7? Because it would be like the 7th core one technically.
I don't know. It's just, I feel like no matter what way they go, it's just going to be a mess. Because like you said, everyone's left. The one that tried to save it has left. So I don't know what...
Couldn't quite save it and left, yeah.
Couldn't quite save it. And you can't get Bungie back there to fix it because now Sony owns them. So good luck trying to get Halo back up. You could.
And not to mention, you also can't poach anyone from Bungie either, because when Bungie signed up with PlayStation very wisely built it into the, like, so obviously people spoke about it was like $3 billion or like several $1 billion anyway that they paid up for them. And it was built, because it was an absurd amount for a single studio, they actually built it into the contracts that you would only get, like, on an employee by employee sort of level, you would only get whatever you're owed if you stay for a certain amount of time.
Oh.
So if you leave early, you don't get whatever... You
get nothing.
Say the last 5 years, it's like a 7-year contract or something, you know, footy style. Those first 2 years, sure, you'll get paid up for all those, but if you leave, the rest of it you're leaving behind. And that's, considering the amount of money it was paid, you'd imagine everyone's getting 7 figures. Even like the lowest rung, you know, testers or QA or whatever. I reckon even they're getting 7 figures.
Even the person making the coffees or
the janitor.
The food. The janitor.
Best paid janitor of all time.
Pies. He'd be loving life driving around in his Peugeot. I don't know what.
Ferrari, let's go Ferrari.
Ferrari, his high-powered van.
So you can imagine there's probably a few people there that'd be like, I'd love to go and save Halo, but also their partners are going, are you crazy? I can't leave all this money behind.
But he's just there, wiping away the tears with his $1 bill. He's like, I'd love to, but or he's eating his food, wiping away all that leftovers on a $10 bill, saying, I'd love to, but I just can't.
And if there was anything like slightly underhanded in terms of maybe a little bit of communication on the side, you know, lending their services, they'd be opening up a whole, like if they got busted by PlayStation, there'd be like they would just be sued into oblivion, because they're kind of feeding the competition, let alone the fact they'd be fired and all that too. Like there's really nothing that the current Bungie staff that were there when PlayStation bought them, and that was what, 18 months ago, a year ago.
Yeah, I'd say about 1-2 years ago. Like we said, the last 2 years have sort of been a merger, so we don't necessarily know when it happened. It did happen.
I think it might have been 2022, but I don't recall. There's nothing they can do. They're stuck. So for 343, they've really got to resolve this thing themselves. And I think the best thing the Xbox can do is just give them.
Oh, it was last year. There we go.
It was.
It was last year.
They need to give them 5 years, like the minimum. Like it's just, you do not need to rush. We need to take and they'll be all over it. You've got the likes of id and those sorts of studios internal now. Get them on board to help with kind of some of the more mechanical stuff, so that you can invest your time in making sure that campaign and the multiplayer and all those sort of things, that they are right, because 343 can't seem to do it on their own.
No.
And Joseph's gone.
Joe's gone, and they've been very up and down with their Halo games since making them.
Yeah, since taking over with 4. So,
what was it 5? I can't remember if it was 5. People got angry because Master Chief didn't really get much screen time, and people got angry about that. Was it 5 for that one?
Yeah,
I can't remember.
The 4 campaign was pretty good, but the multiplayer was shit. In 5, it was reversed. The multiplayer was amazing, but the campaign was shit, and that's where you had Chief didn't get nearly as much screen time as he. That
wasn't the Peter Dinklage thing, was it? Was that Destiny?
That's Destiny.
Okay.
Commander Locke.
Was
the guy who kind of took the center stage with Guardians, and then Infinite where the multiplayer is good, but took an eternity to get there, and it's still not done. And the campaign is fantastic, but it's just they just can't seem to get everything right.
And this is their number one franchise.
Yeah.
Or first party franchise, I should say. But even Mario has been around for 40 years, and name a terrible game that Mario's been in. That's made by Nintendo, I should say. Not there's been a few
Mario's
other developers that have made.
Yeah,
where Mario was lost. That was another one. That was an educational one.
But you have to go back. You have to go back 30 years as well. So.
Yeah. This is like the 90s where they were just making everything and anything on.
And it's the same with PlayStation.
Console.
Like they haven't screwed up an Uncharted or a Last of Us or a God of War or Horizon Resistance.
Well,
whatever you want to.
Well, do you count PC ports as a mess?
Oh well.
Just for the Last of Us, because it's just.
I mean, I guess they
talk
didn't
about
really
frame rates on that one.
Yeah, true.
You want to talk about frame rates? It's The Last of Us.
It's an interesting one actually, because they didn't really develop it, but they're claiming all they're taking all the heat, because I think the Naughty Dog brand can do it far better than Iron Galaxy, who was the team that did the port. So.
Well, I'm surprised Neil still has his job at Naughty Dog, because he said the Mario Brothers movie was good, and the last time someone had something Nintendo related in their picture or spoke about Nintendo, they disappeared because they had a Wii in the background.
Sorry, Kevin.
And look who we got now. Some dickhead.
Yeah.
Who can't even hold a controller properly.
Anyway. So, yeah, they're kind of in a shitty sort of spot, and I don't know how they dig themselves out of it, outside of just... Halo just needs to go on the back burner. Just invest your money in all those other teams, make sure that... And it does still feel like that things are starting to come together from Redfall to
take away the 30 frame
Starfield.
per second stuff.
The game still looks
Ignore
good.
that.
I'm a fan of what the game's doing. So at this point, anyway, we'll see what happens when I play it. From Redfall to Starfield, Hi-Fi Rush. Now that's all Bethesda, but the Xbox studios are getting there. You've got Obsidian, who did Grounded and Pentiment last year. They're working on Outer Worlds 2. They're working on Avowed. They've got heaps of other studios that are all Hellblade 2 is
that was the one. Hellblade 2,
can't be that far off at this point.
No,
next
surely
year.
not. We haven't seen anything from Hellblade 2 for 3 years. We saw one little bit of gameplay, and that was it.
It debuted in 2019. It's been that long.
What, the trailer? It's been 4 years.
Because that was the same time that they announced the Xbox Series X.
Oh,
because
wow.
they announced it at the Game Awards of 2019.
Okay, come on. That's just taking... I know there's been a pandemic and everything, but that's
And they
way
are a
too
small
long.
team. They are a very small team,
too.
but yeah.
But still, that is a long time.
They should have just
show
not said anything.
Or show the trailer. That would have been better. So
Well, no, as in terms of Hellblade, they just shouldn't have said that it was in development. They should have just held on, maybe announced it in 2021, for example, and then, it's been 18 months. That's not so bad.
Let's do a blind drop and just say, hey, here it is. And everyone go, oh my god, it's here.
Yeah.
Is it in 30 frames per second? Or is it 60?
Oh, they won't get that one wrong. I'll back them in there. There's no way that's going to be 30. Anything less than 60 would be a disaster for that studio. But I guess we'll reassess that one when the time comes. Any other thoughts on kind of all things Xbox at the moment?
Well, they were doing some good stuff, and now they've just had a bit of a rough patch. They've been doing good for the last few years. But this has sort of been a little bit of a disaster, especially with old buddy, old pal leaving 343 because he got no Halo no more.
Yeah.
And
no Joe, no Halo.
No Joe, no Halo. And come on, you Phil, you're our only hope.
People keep saying that, but he's a fucking liar as well. As much as I like him, but I guess that's a corporate person for you. All right.
What's the guy? What's the guy from Bethesda? What's his? I forgot. Todd. Help us, Todd. Help us, Todd.
Yeah, help us, Todd. Save us, Todd. Hang on.
Or Rare.
Help me, Todd Howard. You're our only hope.
I was gonna say help us, Rare, but it's 20 years too late for that much help.
Yeah, I mean.
Hey, how about how's Crystal Dynamics?
Too.
What's Crystal Dynamics doing at the moment? Surely they're not working on... Well, they can drop that and just go to Halo. It's not...
Yeah, bigger fish to fry. Bigger things that need saving.
Take that extra A over to 343.
Yeah.
Oh.
Just when it seems like they're getting everything right, it all starts to go to shit again. We'll wrap things up there for this episode. If you enjoyed it, please be sure to like, share, and subscribe.
Good thing Warner Brothers did delay the Suicide Squad till 2024. They'll be just going, ooh, that's a relief. It's like, oh, maybe they saw all this disaster by Xbox this week. You know what, guys? Let's just let's put Suicide Squad to next year. Just slide it under the table there, so no one really cares. They'll look at it and go, oh yeah, whatever. But hey, those 30 frames, I mean, that's an outrage. Did you hear about Suicide Squad being delayed till 2024? And let's not worry about that. Redfall's in 30 frames per second.
Rebel.
And that dude and Joe from 343's gone. Hell, oh dear.
Yeah, it's a bit of a shit show out there at the moment.
I think Master Chief needs to go to the characters of retirement. Into a retirement home you go, buddy.
Even PlayStation was able to cancel, finally kill Dreams, and it just... Well, I mean, no one cared about Dreams beforehand, but just no one even spoke about it really when that happened, because...
I also tried to kill the PS3 store, and then everyone decided, you know what, let's jump back in.
Yeah, no, Dreams is going to die, but anyway. If you enjoyed this episode, please be sure to like, share, and subscribe. All the buttons are down below. Hit the notification bell. That way you're alerted to every new video the moment it goes live on the channel. That includes Patched, Player 2 Plays, Gamer School, and a whole bunch more. Visit the website, player2.net.au, for reviews, previews, opinion pieces, news, features, links to the podcast series Patched, the Player 2 Pixelcast, and Dev Diary. We're on Patreon, patreon.com/player2au, kicking a few bucks. Lower tiers, early access. Higher tiers, monthly episode exclusives. And finally, there's Twitter. Matto, you're off for next week. So if people want to see more of what you're up to in the meantime, where do they need to go?
Matto_Phil. You probably won't see much there because I'll be relaxing somewhere sunny.
Yeah, where are you off to again?
Western Australia.
Oh yeah, they'll be getting sun still, I'm sure.
Oh yes.
Paul James Games for myself. Well, they've got a cyclone at the moment, so yeah, that's exciting. Paul James Games for myself. The website is player2au, and until next week, where I don't know, I'll be joined by someone for Patched. I'll work that out later. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you later.